So we've got the jobs out the way. We got a little bounce in the market. It's now or never for the bears. Are we going to catch some of these shorts, or are they going to blow this straight through into CPI? Guys, I'm giving you the full plan that you need for the rest of this week here, and tons of setups, including shorts and some longs for you. Let's go. Remember, as always, hit that like, hit the bell, and hit the subscribe. Little bit of a red day yesterday. We're getting some relief. A couple of those levels did actually hold for us, and some of them went a little bit lower. I took a couple of stops, but some of the longs we entered yesterday have survived, and now they are going up. Mr. 𝗵𝗆 is in green. I don't know if this is an ominous sign or not. Can you take
just trying to help, see if it might do something. So far, so good.
Anything he can do is good. Okay, Muscles is here. Jay, what's happening, bro?
Feeling good, feeling good. How are you?
I'm tired. I'm tired of chop, bro. They must do something for us. Okay, so we're gonna bring in Jay. He's got some gold stuff going on. He had a nice SNX breakout earlier today. If anyone remembers SNX, there's stuff happening there. So he's gonna fill us in on what's happening in the chart hackers. And he's definitely bringing us a setup. He's got an ETH long that's a little bit lower down, and he's got a short that is a little bit higher up. So we're definitely going to be well covered. And Tiana says, OMG, Jay is here. Look, it's the muscles. We got to bring in the muscles on a Tuesday. And Cole says he's tired. Cole, I'm exhausted, bro. I'm so tired of getting chopped up here. Now, Zcash doing its thing and giving us a little bounce. Is this a short opportunity? I'm talking about Zcash for you guys today. I've got that chart. We are moving into the local bear zone. We can work through that one together. Then we've got stuff like Render hitting some higher time frame zones. We can see AVAX hitting a couple of zones as well. And basically the message before we jump into BTC today was I spotted on Monday, Tuesday, I do the higher time frame charts in the Chart Hackers Discord, and I picked up a lot of alts sitting on major levels. And my message today was, obviously, as bearish as we might be feeling at the moment, we can't ignore these major levels. So I pulled out some of these charts for you. Aero, Virtual, AVAX is one of them as well. Some big levels in play. We might get a DCB, yes sir, and maybe something there for us to play with in the market. So let's jump into BTC. Let's see what is going on. Immediately turning red as I open the screen here. We're getting that rejection on BTC. So in terms of the pumpage, they stretched us yesterday. They took us much deeper than that 786 fib. Look at those wicks, but look how the bulls started fighting back yesterday, and now they pumped us up. Finally, we got our divergence, we got our reversal, and look, on paper, everything looks good. Okay, we got the nice reversal here in terms of the lower time frame move we wanted, but they did just stretch us a little bit, and that put a lot more pressure on some of the altcoins. Now, what is going on with BTC? So you can see, keeping it as simple as possible, we've lost our rising trend, and now we are simply busy with a retest. So the bears, you should be licking your lips because your opportunity is coming. Look at this. I've inverted the charts here for the bears. Look what we got going on here. If we do drop into this zone over here, pop, look at that, and drop into that one, 89.8, 88.600. That is your possible rejection zone. So in terms of the bears, you guys need to be ready now to catch a couple of shorts here. And I'm feeling a little bit excited. This 89.8 could be an absolute banger here to the upside. So guys, local bear zone, 88.700 into 89.800. Looking for shorts here if we do push into that type of area. And then big support for us at the moment is 86K, and then a little bit lower down. And it's going to feel like a lot lower down, but this is around 84 into about 83.5. That is going to be our next big support that we are going to be playing with. Okay, so looking out these major levels here, these are the ping pong zones leading into the rest of the week. Now, what do we got out of the way? We finally got the job numbers out of the way. We're going to talk to James. They might be considered relatively bullish for the market, but then we've got CPI coming on Thursday, and we got the Bank of Japan doing all sorts of song and dances on Friday with their interest rate. So it's definitely going to be a super interesting couple of days, and no doubt we're going to have a little bit of chop, and there's going to be a couple of liquidations along the way. I mean, right now we had $500 million again, just a random Tuesday in the crypto market, $500 million done. I mean, I say this so often, but I cannot believe, James, 6 months ago, we were looking at this saying 70 million liquidated and like whatever. Now, an average day, guys, 200 million, 300 million, your local average day in the market. It's absolute filth. And this was me, like literally me, taking care of my crypto portfolio. There you go, just massaging that thing, taking control of it there, making sure, you know, it's well curated. Look at this thing. This is actually me, guys. If my hair grows, that is kind of what it looks like. And there's a very important message for anybody that is feeling tired at the moment. Now, we tried to get really rich in crypto in 2025, but 2026, guys, it's a new year. Let's see what we can do.
I tried.
We did our best. That's all that
I
matters.
did my best. We tried.
Maybe next year we'll come back and try
Maybe
again.
next year.
We're going to go again, boys. We're going to go again. Okay. Remember, 2026, guys, we just go again. Okay. This time is different, boys. Just quickly, how are you boys feeling about 2026? Is 2026 out here?
Super
Very
bullish.
bullish.
Can't wait.
Giga bullish.
Yeah.
Banana zone.
Oh my God. Okay, well, guys, you know what? One thing's not going to change is that I'm going to show up every single day. Okay, I'm going to be here every day. We're going to be long, we're going to be short, and we're going to be having an amazing time. Even if these fuckers want to put us into a bear market, okay, we're going to have a great time here, and we're going to make sure you guys are all very well covered. Now, let's jump into some of the news here. The jobs data came out. This was obviously the first big one for us today. Economy added 64,000 jobs in November, above expectations. Unemployment rate rose to 4.6, above expectations as well. And the unemployment in the US is now at its highest level since September 21. James, that must be bullish.
It is. I mean, the single month jobs numbers, because they released October as well today. That the red folder on Forex was just, I'm like, hold on, how do we have this many folders? And then I said, oh, okay, we've got October data, we've got November data, and they were both back and forth. They kind of cancel each other out. The big one is the unemployment rate, though. And during Powell's last FOMC, he said his number one attention is going to be to the actual unemployment rate. And it was higher than expected, which is great for rate cuts. Not that the chart showed it right away. We had a bit of a spike and then a dump right away, but ultimately this is bullish. But we've got CPI coming up to worry about. If inflation is also high, that's just going to get rid of any bullish momentum behind this.
The biggest week in crypto since last week, guys.
Ever.
Every single week. Okay, so here we go. That was obviously can be considered bullish. Now, if CPI comes to the party, then some of these shorts are going to get rinsed because Bitcoin might start ripping a bit harder. And then imagine the smell if these Japanese come and don't raise rates or something like that. My God. I mean, yeah, you see.
Is that even a possibility? I mean, they've announced they're going to.
I'm just saying. Imagine.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. Miracles do happen. It might be a Christmas miracle straight from Santa.
It could be. Know. I mean, Jim Cramer's not helping because Ryan Dietrich said stocks tend to bottom on December 15th. And Jim Cramer said it makes sense. And then immediately we started dumping. Okay, so that wasn't helpful. So, like, maybe he just shouldn't push any buttons. But if he didn't say that, we probably would have bounced a bit earlier yesterday. And how's this? Someone knows something. Warsh has now overshot Hasid as a favorite for the next Fed chair. Now, I took a position on Kalshi because of for Hasid. And now
but there's been pushback.
Dude, what's going on here?
Well, the problem is Hasid is on Trump's economic advisory board, and he's very close to him. So now the market's going, oh, he's too close. Trump's going to control the Fed if he gets in. And there's been pushback on the GOP of the brass over there going, this is not a good look for us. We need to maintain independence of the Fed. And that's why this is flopped, because people are going, okay, Hasid maybe doesn't have the job because he's too close and it's just bad optics.
Well,
so you never know. He may end up getting it anyway. But at the moment, there's some pushback.
You get a 2x. If you go with this Warsh guy on Kalshi, they're going to pay you 2x if he gets it. So, yeah, I mean, guys, there's a possibility here if you want to have a crack. Who's going to be your Fed chair nominee, guys? You can play this game with us all day long. I went with Hasid, and I've gone with Kevin now as well. I got to hedge myself. I don't know. The things are.
Somebody's going to win.
There. There's going to be another opportunity. Look at this. Christopher Waller is coming in hot as well. I mean, imagine what we can get here if we nail this Waller guy. Look at that, a 10x payout on this Waller guy. So definitely something to watch, guys. We're going to pay attention to this. Let's talk S&P. S&P in the bounce zone. Okay, we are literally a couple of dollars away here from me going long. A 6757 is what we're looking for here for a bounce on the S&P. So moving into a short-term bounce area, that could be nice for us. Let's talk Netflix. This thing is still flat for me on BTCC. MicroStrategy absolutely rinsing me again, and then Circle is still nice and green. So no changes here. Again, waiting for a crypto bounce. Is CPI going to come and save us and pump my MicroStrategy up 30-40%? So in terms of Netflix, no changes from yesterday. Original support, all is in play. backup zone 82.5, guys, no changes there. MicroStrategy 152, absolutely no changes on this one. We just sit and we wait. Okay, I want to see what is going on there with the rest of the market. Now here's something interesting. The metric revealed every BTC bottom. Okay, this is 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗃. He says 30-day open interest change says it all. Okay, plus 40 to 60% equals the top of the market, minus 15 to negative 25 says the bottom, and right now we're at negative 15%. So again, signals that we are close to the bottom, but not necessarily at the local bottom. And this brings me back to this bullish divergence print that I've been talking about over the last week or two on the 3-day. This is literally still on the table for us. And this is, I know, like we joke that this is the biggest week in crypto since last week, but if we are going to get this divergence print, it's got to happen in the next couple of days. And we teed up perfectly for CPI and the BOJ coming on Friday. So that could be an absolute banger for us. But unfortunately, this tells us Bitcoin drops into this 80 to 75K region. Okay, so just remember that if we do get that sell-off, that 75K is going to be a hot pot. Okay, we're going to look for longs there off that region, and we're hopefully going to get a sustained move there with some kind of bullish divergence print on that 3-day. Okay, if everything goes well, and MicroStrategy going to liquidate us all eventually. Yes, I'm just playing the long game, bro. At some point, it is going to come. When Bitcoin goes to zero, at some point, it will happen. And then, yeah, I think there's going to be some lickies in town. But don't worry, we'll be trading gold and silver and all the dino coins again. Okay, so don't worry about that. Okay, guys, so Bitcoin, let's keep watching. We got Jay coming in hot with a couple of shorts as well for us. So Bitcoin, there's our short zone. Okay, pay attention to that area. Keep watching today. I think that's a high percentage rejection zone. In terms of USDT dominance, not much to report, actually. We're just bouncing around in a tight little range at the moment, 6.6 and 5.7. This is your ping pong zone at the moment for USDT dominance. Okay, so Bitcoin dominance, this is an interesting one. And I'm not against an explosive Bitcoin dominance here. You can see we've taken off and off the level that says BTC outperforms. This is our typical horizontal support zone. And we are now pushing into our altcoin outperformance area. So nothing wrong with this. And if we do pump here, we're looking for Bitcoin to consolidate and then these alts to take over and start ripping a little bit. We're not going to ask for much. We're going to ask for 5%, 8%, something like that on some of these altcoins. But that is essentially what we are going to be looking at here on BTC dominance. Okay, so just be patient. You can see we are pushing into resistance. And this thing does look a little bit bullish to me at the moment. So something we got to watch. Okay, I'm not necessarily against Bitcoin exploding through these levels if it is going to the upside. That means obviously the market will organically just push up anyway, and we'll be satisfied. Okay, we're not going to be crying if that seems to happen with Bitcoin moving to the upside. Now, let's get into some of these alts. Now, in your 20s, you'll meet a guy who tells you to buy altcoins. It's very important that you run him over with your car. Do you like that, James?
I like that.
Oh,
yeah.
Until they start
solid
pumping
advice.
Again. Okay, until they start pumping again, then we're going to change our mind. At some point, these alts are going to do things for us. Okay, so this is what's going on. I've taken some profit on my XRP short. I'm going to show you guys where the add-on zone is. Okay, that is around the corner here. Then Bitcoin, I've got a long running at the moment. I can't find a reason to close that short just yet. Virtual from this morning, Chart Hackers. ETH from this morning as well, Brett from Chart Hackers, Peppy from Chart Hackers, and those levels that I gave you guys yesterday. We preset some buy orders on some of these tokens yesterday, so they have now hit some of these zones and they will be moving. So let's take a look at what is going on. Let's break this stuff down. And while I'm talking ETH, Jay tells me he's got another ETH long for us, a few more percent down. So let's get Jay up as well, and we can start talking about the current situation, because we've got a big week ahead. And in terms of what I'm trading here on ETH at the moment is just a couple of degen areas where I think we can get rejections or possible shorts. So anybody trading ETH right now, upside 3,000. Next one is 3,100. Why is this important? This is our 100-week moving average. This is our VWAP from the highs. This is our 382 as well. And that all ties in with our local bear zone. So 3,100, guys, monster danger zone for ETH. That is a pretty high conviction short area for me with regards to ETH. Now, in terms of longs, I'm trying to keep it relatively simple. Yeah, I'm using fibs, and you can see I've got 2,796. And anything into this type of region as well could be a bit of a stretch, but 2,730 is kind of like where I see the next potential long coming on ETH. Now, Jay, I know you've been watching this one closely. How bad does it have to get before we get a bounce, according to what you're looking at the moment? What are we seeing?
Yeah, so the trade I have for tonight is actually 𝗵𝗵𝗿, but and that's going to be a short. But I do also have a long exactly in the same place as you. I'm just looking for kind of that fake out of that trend line. So it hits that 786, and I love it when we have like this retail trap. They think that we're losing the trend. Let's short it. And as you always say, when the retail loses that 618, they go short straight away. And then it hits that 786 and snapback reversal off that back into the trend line. So for me, I would like that. That will be an opportunity to go long. If they really do want to take the low at 2,625, I'm not too sure I'm really interested in trading ETH. Then I think things get very dark then, guys. So
dude, it's going to be so filthy down there. I mean, like, look, we'll be having a good time on the stream, but I mean, it's going to be filthy down there.
It's going to be fun, yeah. But I'm very interested in that, your 786, 2,800 or so. That will be a really good zone.
So guys, keep it simple. We know, like, we get good reactions off the 786. Okay, we know that. Okay, because you lose the 618, everyone starts shorting and they get too bearish and then it pumps. Okay, so we'll look out 2,796, 2,800, somewhere in that region for ETH. That is going to be your backup zone. You can see your danger zones here to the upside. 3,000, 3,100. These are typical short zones that you want to pay attention to. If we start pumping into CPI and then we have a cool off or something like that, look out. Okay, they might even want to de-risk on the day of CPI on Thursday. So if we pump today and tomorrow, look out for that de-risk leading into CPI, and that might be around 3,100. Look out for that. Could be a nice short into some lower levels. Okay, remember all of these charts and the muscles over here go into Chart Hackers directly after the show. They'll be there waiting for you guys. And Edric says, what happened to Astra? Edric, it's your lucky day. I'm talking about Astra in about 3 minutes time. Hello, Mark Dutch. Always good to have Mark in the house. Okay, so let's get muscles back here. Don't run away, bro. Don't run away. I sent you away by accident. Okay, let's talk Solana. Let's talk hype. Then I'm going to bring you who remembers XPL. Okay, we're talking about XPL. We're talking about XRP. I've got news on Pump. Stick around. There's some filthy news on Pump. It might be going to zero. So we're going to bring that for you guys as well. Possible bounce coming, hopefully, before it goes to zero. Let's talk Solana. And right now, I've broken it down into the 1 hour, trying to keep it super simple here for you guys. Now, I dropped these levels in Chart Hackers earlier today in the Discord, and our DGen short zone was 128 to 130. And you can see we had a fairly good rejection in that area, but now with the jobs numbers and things like that, the market's getting excited again and they're pushing us up. Now, can we believe in this pump? Can we buy into this pump? For me, the bear zone is coming, guys. 132 into 134.5, somewhere in that area is going to be a high probability rejection zone. Okay, so look out here. That is your possible short zone coming. If we pump into that area, 132 into 134, that's a possible TP zone for anyone who is long, and that is going to be your first port of call for possible shorts here on Solana. So look out. That could be a typical fake out through that trend and then some kind of rejection. So what you can get is obviously this push to the upside. They trap all the guys trying to long the trend, and then they drop this thing lower down. Okay, so that is on the table. You can see I've got some hidden divergence here at the moment as well on Solana on the lower time frame. So it could be getting a little bit tired. So I just want to say, pay attention. 131.7 into 134, guys, looking like a problem zone. And Giovanni wants to short hype. I mean, it breaks my heart, this Hyperliquid, every time. I was in a scalp long earlier, and I've closed it now, and it's under this resistance zone. And like, I used to look at hype and just want to hold it, like, because it was just always going to pump. And now I'm just feeling so salty about it at the moment. Who's got yes, good TP. Okay, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 time since May 20th. The hype 4-hour candle has closed below 27. Agree. A whale holding a hype 5x long position is currently facing a floating loss of only $17 million, Jay.
Only.
With a Licky's price of 22.2. Tell me they're not coming to wipe this guy out. Okay.
Sure.
Like, this is the problem, you know, and this is why hype is making me so sad at the moment. It used to be my absolute banker. So in terms of what's happened to hype today, we had a little bounce. We had 2-hour bullish divergence playing out. Look at that. And we've pushed into our local bear zone. And now we've got our rejection. Okay, so 27.66. That is now rejecting. And yeah, guys, all I can say with hype, be super careful. There's a lot of noise about lots of traders that are trapped. There's another guy, I think a 50 million trader. He's sitting at about 21, 22, his liquidation. And that, I mean, there is confluence down here. Okay, so there's a lot of downside levels on hype. It's not looking super exciting to me. And at the moment, we're just getting small little moves out of this thing. And yeah, I mean, those of you brave enough to short hype, I'm just wearing the scars. I mean, we tried to short hype a couple of times, and the best we could get out of it was 5% and talking shit about 𝗵𝗵𝗿𝗁. And now, I mean, I'm actually got PTSD, bro. I don't know. Yeah. I'm a little bit nervous about shorting this thing. But guys, there's your rejection zones. 27.66, 28.16. You can see that is where you're exiting this thing. And lower down, you've got some supports around this 25 region. Just play it safe. Okay, hype was last week's girlfriend. I agree. Okay, I agree. Guys, let's talk. We're going to get Jay on now, and he's going to bring 𝗵 for you guys, and he's probably going to update us on some of the regular markets, gold, NASDAQ. Maybe he's got some commentary for us on that. Sure. Then we're going to bring him after I bring you 𝗏𝗏 here. We're going to talk that. We're going to talk about gravity. And then after Jay, I'm going to bring you XBL and some pump stuff. And we're going to try and figure out what to do next with pump. So in terms of 𝗏𝗏, while we're on the topic of DEXs, whale, this guy's, I don't know, he's not trading very well unless he's got ulterior motives, okay? He always buys 𝗏𝗏 high and sells low. Isn't it supposed to be the opposite? Aren't we supposed to do the other thing?
Yeah, comes to chart hackers.
So I don't know what's going on here. But 10 hours ago, he sent 13 million 𝗏𝗏 withdrawn from Binance 6 days earlier back to Binance, and he's locked in another 1.3 million loss. So maybe it's the market makers, maybe it's guys doing things, I don't know, or maybe he's just a bad trader, who knows. But yeah, come to chart hackers, bro. Come, we'll look after you. Okay, 𝗏𝗏, let's talk about 𝗏𝗏 here. On the 12-hour, you can see this thing is looking disgusting. Okay, like really not a good situation at the moment. What is saving it at the in front of me? We've got a 12-hour possible reversal coming on the oscillator. Let's take a look at the 8 as well, and you can see that 8 is trying to reverse. Let's take a look at the 4. Nice reversal sign as well on the 4. So what I want to say, there's no longs for me on 𝗏𝗏. We don't have enough data. Okay, if you take a look here on your left, you can't really work out a level where you can long this thing, but we can sure as hell figure out a zone that we can short this thing, okay, on the next pump. So all you need to do, wait patiently. When 𝗏𝗏 starts pushing again to the upside, you can take advantage of a couple of short areas on 𝗏𝗏. Okay, the big one for me, the high conviction zone, is got to be this 108. What do I have here? VWAP from the highs, 50-day MA, 0.5 fib, little bit of an undercarriage as well. So that's our high conviction short zone on 𝗏𝗏. Then I've got a slightly more degen short zone that you guys might want to pay attention to. Look for the pump back into the range, and then that nice rejection. So anything from 915 into 96 makes a lot of sense for me on 𝗏𝗏. So I just want to highlight this with my alarm. So I'm going to set my alarm here. If we pump into that zone, guys, could be an invitation for a little shorty on 𝗏𝗏. Now, this Pippin story, I know you guys want me to talk about Pippin, but it's a difficult one because it looks like 80% or even more is controlled by a single group. So at some point, this Pippin is going to go to zero, okay? And like, I just don't want to watch anyone be the casualty of all of that stuff. And obviously, it would be nice to catch the short, but how do we do it? It's so manipulated. Do you guys remember OM? It's the same sort of operating system that we're seeing there at the moment. So just be careful with Pippin. That's all I want to say. At some point, it's going to go to zero, like proper zero. Now, guys, talking about DEXs, we know Hyperliquid, the guys that farmed on hype, they did really well. We know the guys that farmed on 𝗏𝗏 did really well. We know the guys that farmed on what was it? Lighter have done really well as well. Don't forget, we've got Gravity, which is another DEX. And what you're going to be doing here is if you're trading on Gravity, you are essentially earning points for the Gravity token airdrop. And obviously, if this thing finishes, you know, one of the top 2 or 3 DEXs around or in the market, then you're going to do pretty well out of any airdrops and things like that. So right now, I think we're at it. When we last checked, Gravity had, I think it was the 5th biggest volume out there at the moment in terms of these DEXs, and it is obviously growing quickly. So if you want to farm Gravity with me, there is a link in the show description. Every time you open and close a trade, you are earning points here that go towards these airdrops. Okay, so if you want to have a crack at that, there is a link in the show description. Now, before we get into XPL, which is Plasma, XRP, Pump, Peppy, Brett, ZK, let's hear from Jay. Okay, let's see what Jay has to say. And maybe he's got a little 𝗵𝗿 short. That's already sounds fun to me. So let's see what's going on here.
Okay, so, well, in terms of like the market, you know, we kind of, it's so choppy at the moment. So what I'm trying to do with the hackers is to trade the extremities of a certain token. So not to really trade in the range, rather trade the upper or the lower side of it, just so we don't get chopped up, and rather wait for that big move up or the big move down. So in terms of 𝗵𝗿, we have a 618 here from our local high to our local low over here. We have the previous month mid as well as the previous week mid. So this is exactly in that 50% zone, and we're lining up this with a 50-day SMA as well as a fair value gap. And look at this beautiful undercarriage over here where price broke down from previously, and this created the fair value gap. And we know how price loves to come back to fill these imbalances. So this will line up with our 618, our previous month mid, our previous week mid, as well as value area high and the 50-day. So this is quite a huge confluence zone for me to get into a short on 𝗵𝗿. So before we get when entry is 85 cents.
I haven't pushed any buttons, bro. I'm enjoying this. It's so smooth and fast. I like it.
It's really, really good, guys. So what I've been doing, especially in this chop, I've just been waiting for the high conviction trades. Like, I mean, last week we did 5 altcoins only, and all 5 hit full TP. Like, so for me, that's what I've been doing in this chop, and it's been working out really well. So I will rather wait for the entry and then get the banger trade, just like the when entries, and it's been working out really, really well. So guys, for the entry for 𝗵𝗿, 85 cents, value area high, 618 there. Keep your stop just above that 786. We love shorting 786s. It's just so fun to short that max extension. So keep your stop just above there, around a 4% stop. So around 7x leverage, I think will be fine for this trade. And if things really do start to shit the bed during the Bank of Japan, don't be surprised if your altcoins come and take out those previous month lows, right? And that will be extremely, extremely bearish. Yeah, it will be around 20% drop in altcoins.
So, I mean, I quite like the extra extension here that we're looking at. That tells us, it gives us the freedom not to panic too early into shorts, because we do know we got a super volatile week ahead. So, you know, anything can obviously happen, but some pumpy here. How big is that move? You said 5% to the upside.
So, yeah, it's about 5% still to the upside around here. And I will give myself wick protection for news events. We know that Thursday, Friday, you know, this is a really volatile week. And as you mentioned in your show, with that 20% drop, if they're going to really drop at 20%, do you not think they're going to try to squeeze us out of the shorts before they dump it? So, I mean, this is certainly 100%. 100%. If they pump this up, guys, I'm going to short this market 100% to zero. Like Ben says, let's take it back home. And that's what I'm going to take a high back home too.
You see, I can't short that, bro. I got PTSD. Okay, but you see what's going on here. You see what Jay's saying here. Like these when entries that we do in the Discord, they like higher conviction setups, and they actually have a strong hit rate. And what this tells you is a little bit of less trading with more conviction. And what Jay has just said now, dropping 5 trades in the Discord that have hit the TPs and stuff like that, you're focusing on the extremes to the downside, the extremes to the upside, and you're kind of ignoring the noise in between. Obviously, trading that noise in between is fun and it's addictive and whatever, and sometimes it's going to really work for you, but there's times in chop where you're actually just going to get rinsed and you're going to just waste money. So focus on the high conviction trades. Obviously, here on the show, come into Chart Hackers Discord and we'll keep you guys covered there. And remember, just slow it down. There's nothing wrong with slowing down trading. Just do less trading. And when the market is right, we catch the breakouts again and we're laughing and we're cooking and we're trading a million things. But right now, just be careful. Just be cautious with how you guys are doing it. Okay, so let's get into plasma. Okay, there's a lot for me to cover here. But Alt on Chain says, if you want a quick answer as to why plasma is down 90%, just under 10% of plasma supply has been fully unlocked for ecosystem incentives. Okay, I was looking at this thing the other day. I mean, it's absolute filth. And he says, don't expect to see upward price movements until the team actually has an incentive to pump it, which will be nearer to September 2026. Okay, so guys, see you in 2026 for plasma. I have nothing to say other than this thing looks like it's going to zero at the moment. Okay, and always remember, we always need to say a prayer for the dude. There's definitely a dude. Probably not a lady, but there's a dude that bought it at 1.698. He bought the top, and he's now a long-term investor in plasma, and he has to sit at the Thanksgiving table every year and explain
himself.
Okay, so
bought the top and then lost his USB, and he can't sell it.
Okay, so Crypto Lady wants some gold. So Jay, can you prepare some gold there for us? And I see it still hasn't hit my short zone, so I'm just kind of waiting on gold. But Jay's going to look at some gold for us at the moment. Talking about shitcoins, XRP. Okay, here we go. So if there ever was time for a generational add-on short for XRP, it feels like today it's at 198 into 2. Okay, so that is kind of what I want to see here. I've labeled this for you guys for XRP. This is where we're going to add to these shorts. Anything pumping into this local bear zone for me makes a ton of sense at the moment. So 1.98 into 2, this looks like an absolute banger. Okay, so let them come and pump XRP in here. Let the XRP army get excited, and that is where we're looking to add onto these shorts. If you're looking for a fresh short, that is the area there of interest for me. So 198 into 201, somewhere in that type of region, we are looking for XRP to reject. Okay, and at some point, yes, Mia says, when XRP to 10? James, when's XRP to 10? Just remind us, is it today?
I think 4 years from now, when the next cycle starts. That's probably when. Yeah. Okay,
guys, lock it in for 2029. XRP, we're going to shift it. We're just going to shift the goalpost
just a little bit. Yeah? Just a little bit. It's never happened before. It's first time ever.
Okay, so guys, there's XRP. This chart will be in Chart Hackers for you. You can see, I just want to add on to that short. We thoroughly enjoy that. Let's talk about pump. Is there criminal activity? I would never have believed that, ever, that there was some kind of manipulation going on. I'm so shocked that these guys are being investigated. Guys, I'm shocked. I cannot believe it. Everyone has been asking, where is Alon and why has Pump been so quiet? Anyway, long story short, whether it's true or not, I don't know, but it's on X, so it must be true. This guy has posted some kind of investigation going on here with Pump, and maybe that is why these things have been quieting down a little bit. And we've seen that since this started coming out today, and look at this, they're getting accused of manipulation on Peanut, Fog, and Fred. Okay, look at that. And with that news coming out today, Pump is dropping like quite quickly. It looks like it's going to zero at the moment. So right now, if this thing is going to bounce, and I'm not saying it is because we don't know how severe this news is. We don't know what is going on now in terms of these guys. But if there is going to be a bounce, guys, Pump, yeah. Look at this, 23. Look for something. Fish around in that area. Maybe you are going to get a reaction, okay? And obviously, we can always say in hindsight, the signs were there. But, I mean, there it was. You know, there's your head and shoulders. The higher time frame chart that I do drop in the Chart Hackers Discord is there, okay? And the information is available to you guys. If you go into my channel, you go to Crypto Long Term, and then you can see all the higher time frame charts that I've been updating here for the Chart Hackers members. You can see a lot of these levels have been hit today as well. So Giovanni says Pump have been pumping their own stuff. I do not believe it. Okay. And Nagel, good shout. If Pump is dropping, maybe we go back to Bonk. I mean, that is
too. I went and looked. I went to look and see if it was pumping, and it wasn't. I got really excited. I got a little excited when you actually posted that in the Discord. I'm like, yeah, bonk, something we can go along on.
A good shot. Like, I didn't think about that. Yeah. Okay, so guys, 23, look for a bounce on Pump at 23. Don't ape. Okay, you can see there's negative news, but in terms of a reaction zone on the chart, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so just be safe in that area over there. Let's talk Peppy. When entry? Okay, we hit the zone. We've got the bounce. Now the question is, is there going to be a follow through? So I picked up some of these orders on what did we trade with? We traded with 𝗏𝗏 here. There's 𝗵𝗵𝗏 picked up, I think it picked up both orders. Okay, so that was a good result. That thing is nice and green. Then we picked up Brett. We picked up Brett on those orders as well on 𝗬𝗏𝗃. And then this morning I longed ZK. Okay, so 𝗬𝗏𝗃, the orders we made, and 𝗏𝗏 and the orders we made, those things are picked up. I took the stop on pump. Unfortunately, as you can see, I mean, this thing's getting abused. So let's talk when entry. We've got the zone. We're now pushing higher. Anybody trading this, if you want to de-risk and you want to be safe, just put your stop at entry. That'll obviously make it a zero risk trade for you now that we've got the move. In terms of the targets for 𝗵𝗵𝗏, guys, we're not looking for much. 417, 433, and 446. Okay, so nice little head start for anyone that took the trade. You are in. If you want to be safe, guys, just stops at entry and you are de-risked completely from this choppy market. Okay, so nice finish there in the end. Look at Brett as well, same story, chopping around at the moment. So it's hit a good zone. It's hit the 786, chopping around. I've got a short zone for you guys at 1.6 and 1.7. These are your short zones, 1.6 and 1.7, looking for that pump on Brett, then a nice short back to the downside. Don't forget about these charts. Reminder, we've got a choppy week ahead. This thing could pump into these zones like, say, Thursday, for example. Don't forget that. If I'm not covering it on the show on Thursday, make sure you have these levels saved on your trading view when the time comes. Okay, so look out. Any short trades on pump, Syed, only when it goes higher. I want to see a green candle and then a rejection. Then we can start looking at some shorts on pump. Right now, it's just in free fall at the moment. And yeah, John wants to short Pippin. Guys, I'm a little bit edgy about that thing. Okay, I'm just play safe. It's that thing's super dangerous. In terms of ZK, this is one of the charts on the high time frame levels. Muscles, where are you, bro? James, you must put him back when I forget about him. You can't let him run away like this. ZK 28. This is our big support, guys. I took the long. It's not a big size. I'm just looking for a little bounce, maybe a sweep, maybe a stop hunt here. But 28 looked like a good zone. This was the higher time frame daily support. So literally looking for a bounce off daily support on ZK. If that fails, it's 21 is going to be the next area of interest for you guys. Now, here's a question, Jay. Are we shorting Zcash here? Yes or no? Wrong answers only.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I love one of the comments from the people that Japan will delist pump on Friday. So, Japan will delist pump on Friday. I love that.
Okay, I'm gonna try a little Zcash short here. Okay, I'm gonna try a little one here. Let's go. Okay, I'm shorting this on 𝗏𝗏 here. Okay, there we go. We locked in. Let's put a stop up here. I'm going to put my stop at 422.6. Okay, there's my stop, 422.6. Why am I shorting this? Mainly because I'm mentally disturbed. And secondly, there's a couple of things going on. We've got a VWAP here. We've got a 382. We're busy with what we can consider some kind of bearish retest. Okay, so in terms of the lower time frame, we're probably going to see there's a reversal due on, say, 15 minutes. Okay, there it is. Okay, you got your big reversal now on 15 minutes. My only concern at the moment is higher time frame. These oscillators still look pretty hungry. Okay, look at that. That thing is really trying to force the divorce here at the moment, pushing higher and looking a little bit strong. Jay, do you even know what I just said?
But when Zcash going to $10,000? That's the question I want to know.
So I want to give you guys the high conviction short, where I think it's going to be overextended. You heard Jay talk about undercarriages and 786s. Well, here's the high conviction short for later on. Okay, so if we get rinsed on the short now that I've just started, VWAP resistance. Okay, so you can see, we might dance around here and then drop a little bit. Maybe they come and pump it back up on the 15 minutes. Then we're looking over there, 454, 460, somewhere in that region. Looks like the next big short zone here on Zcash, if there is a little bit of momentum in the market. Okay, guys, so we'll put that in chart hackers there for you. Let's talk SPX. Quick one, James. You got enough charts here today, bro. SPX 5544 DGen short zone. Okay, you can see we got the bounce yesterday out of that 50 region. 5544 short zone. 59 is the short zone. Now, higher time frame charts. Look at this. Arrow couldn't resist. Okay, this thing hit major support. We've been waiting for this for absolute weeks. I've been tracking this probably 3 weeks now for Aero. We finally come and we've hit this fib, the 786. It's at 53, and that is why I've taken that long. Okay, so interesting zone here for us. Anything down to 475, looking for action on Aero. Okay, going to be a very interesting week. I have no doubt we're going to chop around a little bit, so give yourself breathing room in these areas, play it accordingly. Don't go too big, obviously, but that for me on Aero looking super interesting. Another one for you guys, virtual. Look at this. It's bounced now, or it's cut it off. Look at that wick. If we lose this zone, virtual's going to zero. Okay, like it's going down another 56%. Okay, so you know, it hits a level like this. I'm having a little look. Okay, just a little look, Jay. a little switch. Okay, Jay, give us something about gold quickly.
Sure.
Japan will dump the pump on Friday. Okay, let's go. Let's see what Jay's got here in terms of gold and things.
Yeah. So in terms of gold, guys, we've been doing really well. And in fact, I just love to short gold, because when people try to long the top of gold is when Chart Hackers literally nails the short. So if you guys ever want a tip about gold, put on that 786 and the 886 fib. They will really squeeze you out of any idea, like to make you sweat a position out, and they will come, but they will never take those wick highs, guys. Like they will literally come $1 or $2 right before, push it up, and then huge candle down. And this is how they liquidate you fully. So remember, you're trading on like 500x leverage, 500 to 1. And if you catch the wrong side of gold, you will be reminded how stupid of a trader you are. Yes. So if you over leverage and you oversize on gold, it will teach you a little bit of a lesson. So gold has been one of my biggest wins and one of my biggest losses as well. But in terms of the short, there's a short that is being playing out currently now. It hit, look at that 786. I mean, literally, you could limit order this one perfectly, and then it dropped down so nice. But in terms of the biggest swing long, I would definitely be looking at the 0.5 fib. So gold reacts really nice off the 0.5 in terms of the macro or the bigger time frame. Because we've seen gold move up so aggressively in terms of the news, I really want to see the pullback into the previous week mid and then play back up into the 786 again for another lower high on gold. At the moment, it's still ranging, and it hasn't broke out of the upper range at the moment. The news today was super bullish for gold, and that's why you saw that little bit of a short squeeze that happened and hit straight into that undercarriage, just like you showed us now on Zcash, right? 786 and undercarriage, that should be like a new t-shirt line for you. 786 and undercarriage. It works really well, guys.
Consistent banger. Like, if that's your only trade every time you see that, I like it. I don't know the stats, but it's got to be a 70%.
Yeah, it's really good, because people start to long here. That's why they trap the breakout traders. People will start to long here, hit the wicks, and then boom, the big candles come down. It's really fast. And if you get caught on this, you stopped out or you've lost a good couple of $100. So the entry, guys, for gold, it'll be between 4,256, and you would need kind of a wider stop than my usual stops. In Chart Hackers, I give them around $10 stop. But if you are taking this maybe on BTCC with only 150x leverage, you can definitely get away with a $20 stop, because you're going to be catching the bottom. And on gold, it does like to spank you when you catch the bottom. It can really push you to the limits. But if you catch that reversal, it can print you quite a lot of money. Yeah. Gold, we're very profitable.
Looking forward to that one, guys. Remember, Chart Hackers is not just crypto. Okay, we're trading all sorts of things in the Discord. Okay, and Jay's pretty much got you guys covered in terms of scalping sessions and stuff like that. He does live trading. If you enjoy 15-minute candles and you want to trade the orb and those types of things, he's got you guys covered in the Discord. Okay, there's lots of private Zooms going on there and lots of activity inside. Okay, so if you want more of that, you can catch him there. Thank you, Jay. Good insights. Looking forward to that gold situation. James, thank you, sir.
Good luck, everyone.
I believe that. I actually believe that. Okay, so we go again tomorrow, guys. Okay, we go again tomorrow. Hang in there. Okay, you know the plan. If we're pumping, you've got the short zones. You can use today's local lows as your support for now. Let's see how we go. Slow down the amount of trades, slow down the sizing. I'm just kind of being patient at the moment. When we get direction, then we know what is cooking. Okay, see you guys later.